New intro about to pop off in 3, 2, 1.
You know we get money, right?
Lisa Dan, yeah, Lisa Dan, yo. Ay, Lisa Dan, yeah, Lisa Dan, yo. Ay, Lisa Dan, yeah, Lisa Dan, yo. It's Lisa Dan, yo. Something like that.
What's up, world? It's your girl Lisa D, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new though, you already know what to do. Subscribe to this channel, like this video, click that notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video or whatever. How did y'all like the new intro? It's a little lit. It might be a little too lit for this channel, but you know, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. My fiance does all my intros, so yeah. He's a musician. All right, so why are we here though? We're here because I went to Goodwill. No, I didn't. I went to Value Village, and I picked up a few of those Tapestry blankets, you know, the ones that the grandmas use, and real trendy. We always see people turn them into like sweatpants and shorts and little bralettes and stuff. So I was like, okay, there's no point in me doing that here because it's been done. Although I am gonna do it, just not today. So I decided to turn 2 of those Tapestry blankets into a cute little crop blazer because it is blazer season. And you know, y'all, I'm not little, I'm a little curvy. So, you know, the blankets are kind of small. So I had to use 2 blankets. So it was like 1 of 2 choices, either use 2 blankets or get a smaller body, and self-love always prevails. So we got 2 blankets. This is not beginner friendly, low-key. It's not. There was a lot of like trial and error, but we got it done. I used a pattern that I created a long time ago out of an old blazer that I loved how it fit. I think that stuff like that should be like a separate video. So if you want a separate video on how to like make patterns from clothes that you love, then just leave a comment down below and or like this video. So if you want to see how I took 2 Tapestry blankets and made them into a cute little crop blazer, then stay tuned. So I got 2 blankets. This is the first one. It's got like a little house and some hearts on it. And then the second one is kind of like a floral vibe with some purples and some pinks. So I'm gonna combine the 2 and make like a patchwork crop blazer. The first thing that we want to do is cut off the fringe because we're going to use it as a trim later. So I'm going to cut along this little guideline that my blankets have, making sure not to cut too low below the guideline because you don't want your fringe to like fray and fall all apart. So I decided that I wanted my front and back pieces of the blazer to be this floral print. So I'm cutting the back piece on the fold. Then I'm gonna cut 2 of the front pieces. So onto the sleeves and the lapel, I'm gonna use this little heart pattern for the sleeves. So I wanna try to line it up as best as I can with my sleeve pattern, cutting 2 of those because we have 2 arms, duh. And then I also want that same heart pattern on the lapel, so we're gonna cut 2 of those as well. Now going back to this floral pattern, we are going to cut our collars. So you need an upper collar, a lower collar, and then your back upper lining piece. However, I'm not using lining in this, so you're gonna see how I, for lack of a better term, finagle this collar onto the blazer. It's not gonna be the cutest and it's not correct, but it's gonna get the job done. But yeah, this third piece that I'm cutting right here, we're not gonna need. We're just gonna need these 2 that you see in front of me, the upper and lower collar. So here are all the pieces we just cut that we're gonna need for this blazer. The upper and lower collar, minus that third piece. Your front pieces, there's 2 of those. Your back piece, we cut 1 on the fold. Your lapel pieces, 2 of those. And we're not using lining, so that's pretty much it. Oh no, wait, the sleeves. How can I forget the sleeves unless we're about to do a vest? But no, we are not. You need 2 sleeves as well. So let's assemble. We're gonna take our back piece and we're gonna attach our 2 front pieces right at the shoulder seam. So right up at the top shoulder seam, you just wanna line it up. And I'm actually gonna use my serger for this. You can use a sewing machine for this, but I'm not gonna use no fray on my ends. And I don't know if this is gonna fray or not. So I'm just gonna not take my chances and I'm gonna take this over to my serger and then just serge straight across. So next we want to add the sleeves, and my camera died while I was doing the first one, so grrr. All right, but we do have 2 sleeves, so I can show you again. So right at the opening where you did the shoulder seam, we just serged that. You're gonna pin your sleeve right sides together. And I'm just gonna fold my sleeve in half to find the center so that I can make sure the center is right there at that seam at the top of the shoulder of the blazer, so everything lines up or whatever. After you're done pinning, you're just gonna take it to your sewing machine or serger and stitch it up. That's what mine looked like after. Now we gotta close up the side of the blazer along with the sleeve. So this is what it's gonna look like when we're done. So we're gonna flip it inside out and we're gonna pin that down and then take it over to your serger or sewing machine and do a straight stitch or a serge. I guess that's a term, I don't know. This is what I'm gonna call it. To close up each side of your blazer. So after we've closed up each side, this is what your blazer is gonna start looking like. It's gonna be real cute or whatever, but let's add the lapel. So right at that little hook of the lapel piece is where you're gonna match up the shoulder seam and then pin that curve all the way around the neck seam and then take it all the way down the front opening of the jacket. And you're gonna do that with both sides, of course, because we have two lapels. Then, of course, take it over to your sewing machine or your serger, and we're gonna stitch all the way around and down where we pinned. And this is what it's gonna look like when you're done. And you're gonna wanna flip these pieces inside out and take like some scissors or something sharp to like really get that point out. And this is what your blazer will start to look like. And it's kind of puffy. So what I did end up doing was sewing a top stitch to flatten out the seam because it was just like, it was too puffy. I could have ironed it, but y'all, I hate ironing, but I digress. Sew a top stitch over that to get it flattened out. But before I do that top stitch, I'm gonna work on my collar because I'm also gonna have to top stitch that. You're just gonna right sides together, your top and bottom pieces, and then you're just gonna sew all the way around, leaving a little opening at the bottom so that you can flip it inside out. So you'll see my little opening here. I'm gonna flip it inside out, and then I'm gonna top stitch across the top. And then also use that top stitch because I'm lazy to close up the opening. So I'm gonna fold in the opening so I can do it all at one time because I ain't got time, Sway. So now we have everything top stitched, the lapel, the collar, and it's time to add the collar. So remember I told you that we are just gonna do this our way to get that collar on because normally you would have a lining to attach your back piece of your collar to and then the front piece would be attached. It's a whole big thing. We're not doing that. So just attach your collar to the neckline and we're gonna use just like a straight stitch to do that. So with your under collar facing the right side of your jacket, you're gonna sew that down. Then, here's where it gets a little ratchet, yo. We're gonna take those corners that we didn't attach to the neckline and attach it on top of the lapel. So just like a 1/4 of an inch over the lapel, we're gonna attach that part. So it's gonna look a little janky when you don't have it on, but when you do, nobody's gonna know. And if they do, it's because they sew. I'm telling you right now, nobody's gonna know. What is that, like that little TikTok? Nobody's gonna know. They're gonna know. They're not gonna know. And once you've pinned that down on both sides, you're just gonna top stitch, and I actually top stitched all the way across so that my collar would lay a little more flat in the back as well. On to our sleeves, we are just gonna turn our jacket inside out and hem our sleeves about a 1/4 of an inch. I think that's like a 1/4 of an inch, but I'm also gonna add the fringe right here. So make sure this is on the inside of the sleeve. You're just gonna pin your fringe to the inside of your hem. You could go ahead and sew down your hem first, but y'all, I am lazy, I don't have time. So I'm just gonna like pull the pins out as I go and repin them to attach the fringe. I'm also gonna use this method at the very bottom of the jacket as well. I did lose that footage, but it's the exact same thing that I'm doing here with the sleeve. And I'm just gonna use a straight stitch to sew that down. And finally, once you've done all of that, your jacket is complete. You see how I made that collar work out even though we didn't have the lining? I I love this jacket. I think it's super cute. Of course, it's warm because it's a blanket. You can see how I attach the fringe to the sleeve and to the bottom of the jacket. So let's style this cute little cropped blazer.